name is Luis Avila. I work for WSP in the USA, and I'm a lead geotechnical and tunnel engineer. So I work on a variety of different tunneling projects all over the US in different capacities, from the technical side of things and also from the management side of things. I've been in the tunneling industry for 8 years now. It all started when I was doing my master's at Northwestern University. My advisor, Dr. Richard Finno, was one of the biggest advocates for tunneling and actually worked a lot in tunneling in his career. So with that little bit of knowledge and piece of information, I kind of took what I learned from his courses and kind of expanded further and told him this is a career path that I absolutely want to go down. And so eventually he connected me with Parsons Brinckerhoff, now WSP, and that's kind of how I got into this industry. So it was a combination of project and the overall scope of items, right? So I'm a fan of geology, and working in an industry that is very heavily involved with geology, immediately tunneling is one of the first ones that came to mind. And then over the course of my life and travels, I've encountered a lot of different tunnels that I've gone through, driven through, have seen for water, wastewater plants. And even in Peru, where my family is from, there's a bunch of tunnels that are actually hand-mined that are like pedestrian tunnels that you can walk through. And as a kid going through and walking through those, that really sparked the interest of like, wow, how did they do this? And how did this even come to be? And how is it standing? It actually depends on what route they want to go, but there's a variety of different routes. If they want to go into design and look at being a designer, they can either go into construction, civil engineering, geotechnical engineering, even structural engineering. There are different routes and disciplines within academia that you can follow, but ultimately it's making sure that you reach out to those industry professionals, you're looking at the work that's being done, and that your studies align with that of what's in the tunneling industry. And again, since it's so broad and interdisciplinary, there's a variety of different ways to go. So I recommend to students, go the path and discipline that you want to go through. If it's tunneling related, reach out to professionals, reach out to professors, and they'll help guide you to where it needs to be to get into this industry. I would say that UCA has been incredibly, and the industry as a whole, incredibly supportive of younger professionals. In fact, they have been very supportive of the young members group and growing that group to expand and be what it is today. And again, with the industry being what it is, we need more people. So they are more than supportive of getting people involved, getting people engaged, and having more folks come into our industry and help out with the work that we do. I can tell you right now, it's the workforce. Right now we're short, and it's apparent with the amount of work that any one of these companies that you see here is having today. I think the initiative that we're doing and being proactive about is reaching out to professors, to students, to parents of all ages, and making tunneling, make it more known that it's a feasible career path for everyone. So it's reaching out and making that visible to those that don't or aren't aware of it. That's incredibly interesting of a question. Honestly, I can see myself going a variety of different ways, but right now my biggest goal is to one, execute and deliver the best tunnel projects that we can to our clients. But on top of that, it's more so grow as an engineer. A lot of the great engineers that you see that are in their 70s and their 80s, they have done a lot in their career, not just from the design aspect of things, but also from the construction aspect of things. So one thing is to do design, and for me, one thing that I want to get more hands-on in is being in the field, being on site for the construction aspect of things, being in the tunnel during the construction to see how it all works and goes. Because it's one thing to do it on paper and another thing to actually be on site and see how it actually operates. Wow, it varies. But I can tell you from when I first started in my career in the industry, it started out with a lot of mixture. Being in the field some to help out with our subsurface explorations, and then helping out on design. So I worked on a bunch of different memos, a bunch of different calculations, reports, and then eventually over time, it engaged, I got more involved with clients. And one of the biggest things that I think I could tell students is, be hungry, be curious, ask to do the work, ask to be involved, because the more initiative you show, the more they're going to give and the more your career can expand from there. With UCA, I would say, I've been involved in a bunch of different organizations throughout my career, and UCA is honestly one of the ones that's more tight-knit and wholesome. Anyone in the community and everyone in the community. It's a lot of the same faces, and regardless of whatever project we're working on, it's a familial kind of feeling where everyone wants to strive to get the best industry that we can out of all the ones out there. With respect to things that we haven't touched upon or maybe not discussed, I would say my recommendation to students is be curious, go out there, go forward, and do what you can to get more involved, to learn more. and never stop being curious, asking questions. For those that are, more senior, my recommendation would be look to fostering mentorship, and not just mentoring, but sponsorship as well. It's one thing to mentor people, and it's another thing to sponsor them and bring them to those critical events, bring them to those client meetings, bring them to those site tours, or those site visits. It's the most critical thing where we need to be more engaging with sponsoring people in addition to mentoring people as well.